Well, hello for those of you who are watching live, but also for those who are listening to the recording. Welcome, Lauren St. George. I am excited because we're going to be talking about decluttering our mindset. And I thought this was a great topic, especially during Women's Month and just some of the things that we may need to let go of in order to excel in life. So, Lauren, thank you so much for joining us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So before we get started into just kind of the strategies of what we should do and shouldn't do, what made you decide to become a facilitator as well as a coach?
It's a great question. I think it was a culmination of my history and work to date. And I found that I was doing a lot of strategy work with businesses, and the tools and methods that I was using work really well in people's personal lives too. And so it took my mom making a statement when she retired early. She said to me, I really wish I'd spend more time thinking about what I was retiring to instead of what I was retiring from. And it really got my head going because I had, through my master's degree, had been working with some individuals to hone my skills in the methods. And I was like, there has to be a way that I can take what I've done so far and help people to really plan their next chapter. And so that was kind of the birthplace of what's next.
Hmm. So with that said, as it's being Women's Month, so what are some of the things I guess we need to stop doing as women in order to that prevents us from moving forward? Like you said, instead of, what she's retiring from, but what she's actually embracing. Because I know a lot of people who are like your mother who are really looking at that next chapter.
I mean, I think one of the first things is being really mindful of that self-defeating voice that we have in our heads, right? Um, Building confidence is something that we have to actively do. It doesn't come to us overnight. And even when we do build it up, being mindful of when we kind of get knocked back a step. And picking yourself up. So, being aware of that naysayer, that voice in your head, that really is designed and there to keep you safe. And it likes you to stay in patterns, it likes you to stay in a comfort zone, but you're never going to get to that next step. You're never going to get to the next goal unless you're prepared to push past that comfort zone. And so it's being mindful of the voice. It's having a mantra or a response to that voice to stop it in its tracks. And when it's saying you can't do something, that you're responding with, yes, I can. And then double down and do some scary things, because the more you do the scary things, the easier it'll become. The more you deal with setbacks, the easier it'll become to move forward. But you're also building trust with yourself. If you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, you're telling yourself, can't trust me. So if you're gonna put forward, I'm gonna do this, stick with it, do it, because you're building trust, and then from that you will see more confidence, you'll see your self-esteem rising, and you will be able to hit those things that you're going after.
And I'm glad you said that because just this morning I was actually thinking about how I had to change my mindset in regards to exercise. It was always, oh, I don't want to do it. Oh, looking at it drudgery. But now I had to change it. It's like, well, wait a minute. I'm giving to myself. I'm making myself a little bit healthier each and every day. And actually, I was thinking it was going to take so much time away from whatever else I was doing, but it actually doesn't. So you're right. Sometimes it's like having that shift and change and thinking, this is a positive thing. It isn't something, oh, I got to get out of bed. I got to put my sneakers on. Hey, I get to walk. And that's really all I get to walk. And each day, maybe I walk a couple of steps more. So thank you so much for sharing that. So what are some of the things, maybe a strategy or two that women can do just to really get started on moving towards, that mindset change and that shift in order to, embrace some of the things that they have in the future?
First of all, you have to know where you want to get to, right? You have to understand where you are and where you want to get to, so that you have that goal in mind. I think the most important piece, and I think it ties to what you just said about exercise, is you have to understand your why. Why am I doing? You can figure out the what, that's your goal, the how are the steps to get there. But if you don't understand your why, it's that much harder to get to what you're working towards. So I challenge people to not go with the first answer, because the first answer may be I need to exercise because I want to lose 20 pounds. You've got to peel that onion back. And so a tool I like to do with people is to it's actually called the 5 whys. When you give that first answer, ask why that answer. So if it is, I want to get healthier, or I want to lose weight. And why do I want to do that? Well, I want to lose 20 pounds. Why do you want to lose 20 pounds? Well, I want to lose 20 pounds so I fit into my clothes. Why do I want to fit into my clothes? And do that 5 times. Don't let yourself off the hook, because it gets harder and a lot more honest the more layers you pull back. But that'll help you figure out your why. And then in terms of mindset, I think you have to curate your mindset. Be very aware of the things you're listening to, the things you're reading, what you're watching, because that all impacts how you're feeling and the way you're showing up. So I think you need to be very mindful of the content that's going in. And I stand by gratitude as being one of the top ways to really affect mindset. It is proven to make people happier over time. It increases self-esteem. It can make you more optimistic. And again, if your mindset is in the right place, you're that much more likely to achieve your goals.
And I just like what you said about the whys, and I hadn't really thought about all of my whys, but I think the one why is I don't no longer want to be on medication.
Mhm.
Because years ago, my blood pressure was way up there. I had to get on medication, but because of different things and working with my doctor, I'm not on it anymore. And that is like, I think my rule, like, why? It's like, you know what? I need to do this because I know I enjoy food, but I do not want to be at that place. So, Lauren, what do you do in order to organize an area of your life? I always ask all my guests this, like, is it something, a strategy you have for your time or, in your space? Because I know you balance so many things in your life.
A couple of things. One is I have a color-coded calendar that lets me look at my day and see, what's in store and really planning out each day. I think the other is really against when they have a new goal, you're adding things on top of your very busy plate. So I like to look at what are the things that I need to start, stop, continue, or change. And if you do that, you can start to strip away some of the things that maybe I can outsource something. Maybe instead of cleaning my house, I can actually pay once a month to have someone do it. Or I can, instead of, taking the kids every weekend to their soccer match, maybe my spouse could alternate with me. So one of the ways that you can free up some of the time that you need to do the new thing, one of the things that you just need to stop doing because they're not benefiting you. And so if I look at my life that way, I have to declutter in order to take more on, because you just can't keep placing things on top of things. And then I think, just being aware of your energy cycles. um, when am I most creative? When can I get most, the heavy stuff, the tough stuff done? I know some people like to do it in the morning, but for other people, it's the afternoon. So being aware of how you work and how your energy cycles work. And the last thing is just having compassion for yourself, because you're not always going to get it right. You're not always going to want to get out of bed to go to the gym that day. And sometimes you need to give yourself a little compassion and say, today maybe I didn't achieve what I set out to achieve, but I will tomorrow. And that's, those are the things I try to live in my life, and they've worked well for me so far.
And I love what you said about energy level because that is so important because there are times when I find my energy level is low. So you know what? I need to rest. But then there are times that it might be after dinner and I've still got some energy. I'll find maybe I'll work and prune a couple plants, do something else. So I really like that, identifying your energy level. So Lauren, how can people connect with you?
People can connect with me through my website, which is answerwhatsnext.com. You can book a call with me through there, or you can sign up for my newsletter where I do a weekly newsletter. You can get helpful tips and methods that I use to help you stay focused and motivated.
And of course, I will have a link to Lauren's website in the description below. Well, Lauren, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to be with us today.
Thank you.